Good morning, Desert Sands Educational Foundation community. This is Sean Webb coming to you, the director of the foundation, live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. We have morning coffee with Chef Mary. And how are you doing, Chef Mary?
I'm doing well. I'm up and I was hiking this morning. I hiked out to the bird feeder.
Okay.
I hiked out to my car. I've done 72 steps so far this morning. My heart health monitor said I have walked only half as much as I've normally walked. So I guess I have to figure out how to walk more and get outside more. Yesterday it was really warm up here.
Okay.
It was everybody was complaining about the heat. It was like 85 in the house, but it was pretty cool outdoors. So we had a little bit of a heat wave, probably nothing like you have in the desert.
Oh my gosh, Mary, I was at the office for a little bit and then I had some other appointments and I came out to my car at 4:30. It was 116 on my dashboard. Yeah, talk about
Oh my
warm.
gosh.
Most definitely. But I got some great news to share with you. I just got this. We were given an email back in earlier in the month, and it's from the Anderson Children's Foundation. So I'm not sure if you're aware of the mission and the vision of the Desert Sands Educational Foundation, but I want to make sure to share with you that we work with community partners to secure funding and awarding monies to provide supplemental resources and enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands, right? So we go to secure funds like we have here, and then we award grants and mini grants to teachers and programs. And as I shared earlier in June, it's funny, all my months are kind of blending together. You know that we gave out about $50,000 this over the course of this school year from our couple events. But this July, I just got this in the mail. Hopefully you can see it, but it's a check from the Anderson Children's Foundation for $6,100, $6,131.
Oh my God.
This is going to be really special. So the next time that we get to have CamFest, we did postpone for 2020, but the next time we get to have CamFest, we're going to use those monies to enhance the music education the music sound equipment for all of the entire festival. One of the things that we surveyed everybody about was that the sound was really not lacking, but it was just, it could definitely be improved. So, we wrote a grant and we got a great grant writer on our board. Kathy Doyle wrote the grant. The team of us kind of looked at it and we sent it off and here we are, we were funded. It was only 1 out of every 2 were funded. It was, there's 158 applications and only 86 were funded. So we were very fortunate to get this.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to use it for lapel mics so they can easily be able to sing and have music and so forth. Yeah. So that'll be definitely applied. So I thought I'd share that with you. That was really, really exciting news.
So are funds donated to that group from outside sources that fund that foundation?
So, I've been in the desert about 20 years, and I'll tell you, I just know them as an organization that give to different children groups throughout the desert. I don't know where they secured their funds, but as the letter says here, they had a request of about $2.8 million and they were able to fund 1.3.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's some serious money there. And to know that we got $6,100 of that, that's fantastic. That was just outstanding.
When I lived in Julian, the high school was, incredibly underfunded. And so they were missing things like a curtain for the gym. And we found this local group in San Diego, just this little entrepreneur group that does fundraising and charity things. And he was an attorney, and actually I had met him at one of the, I used to run the Miss Julian Festival where they took the girls to the Del Mar Fair, and Don McVeigh was his name. So I approached Don and we were talking about it. He goes, let me look around and find these groups, that do this little charity thing. And they funded all the equipment for the auditorium in Julian.
Fantastic.
Just out of one phone call. It's amazing.
It all comes back to one word: relationships.
Yeah.
It all comes back to relationships. And what you've helped me do here is help to build up more of our community and make people more aware of what we do as a group. So thank you for volunteering your time to help us out with this, because you're helping us develop more relationships in the community.
Well, yesterday on I think it's on Channel 2, CBS News, and I only caught the tail end of it, they were featuring someone like you and I who are doing a reach out program to have communication and conversations with people who are sort of not able to be out and around. And I've got to go back on there because they were giving them a great big high five for all their efforts and making that attempt to have a communication with other people that are not necessarily in your immediate friendship circle. So maybe we'll do it on TV.
And you and I just wanted to start doing this just to kind of reconnect with some of the people we haven't connected with, and it just happened to be a lot of the community partners that we worked with all the time.
Exactly. Well, I think for us, it's for me, I know these people, but I never really got a chance to sit down and have any conversation with them. I think when we were talking with Kathleen or one of those, that you kind of pass in the hall, or you maybe have a meeting with 20 other people, but it's basically, hi, how are you? How's your family? Are you busy? Goodbye. So it's been kind of interesting.
And lo and behold, surprise, surprise, I was able to drag a lot of those community partners from La Quinta High to Palm Desert High now to work with us in the foundation. So it's been fantastic to highlight them as well as highlight new ones. But speaking of the foundation, this morning I did a hike where we're highlighting some. This month we're highlighting our incredible, talented staff at Desert Sand. Right?
Yes, we are.
And I did a hike this morning with a past foundation board member and another member. She's also a member of the Desert Sand staff, Diaz, and I also hiked with Marta, who's part of our nutritional team. And I'm sure you probably crossed paths with her a couple of times in the kitchen, but probably never got to really know her and so forth. But so StreamYard just added this, I want to say 3 days ago, where you could actually do this whole format like we're doing here, but on a cell phone. So we did a hike at 5:45 this morning, and I want to play that for us. And it's about a 10-minute interview where we talk about, it's just like we've been doing with all the other incredible, talented staff.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pull that interview on here, Mary, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Let me do that here right now. Well, good morning. This is Sean Webb. We're live from the La Quinta Cove Trailhead. I'm with two of our incredible, talented Desert Sand staff members as we're highlighting for the month of June. We're here on the Desert Sand Educational Foundation format. This is a first on-site interview, and we're here with Marta and Jan Diaz. How you ladies doing?
Hi.
Good morning. So I'll kind of explain to everybody, we're here in the Cove, and if you can see in the distance behind me, they're actually way ahead of me, and we're keeping socially distanced while we're doing this live StreamYard interview for the first time. So let's get to it. Marta, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do for Desert Sands.
Well, good morning. My name is Marta Shand. I've worked for the district about 13 years. I am a site manager for nutrition services, and I'm also the running banana.
That is so true. I've seen the running banana a couple of times during this whole time. That's too funny. And we also have with us Jan Diaz. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do for the Desert Sands?
Hi, good morning. I'm Jan Diaz.
Morning.
I work in communication for the district with our public information officer, the amazing Mary Perry. I'm getting out of breath already. Walking.
Same here a little bit.
Morning. People walking by. We're socially distancing here.
Yes, most definitely.
It's great out here because we can spread out.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so I manage the district website and social media, help spread the word, reach all of our families.
Okay, excellent. You know what? I'm going to stop us for a second because one of the beautiful things about this social media and the StreamYard, we can do these live things. And walking behind me and hiking is our own mayor, one of our Desert Sands teachers. How are you guys doing, Becky? How you doing, Mayor Evans? And we also have Doug. How you doing? Good to see you guys. We're in a live StreamYard. This will be part of the morning coffee with Chef Mary later. So we're interviewing Desert Sand staff.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That's why you've got 3 cameras.
Won't happen again. Sorry. Good to see you guys. All right. So, it's always exciting when we can do hikes up in the Cove here and you see all these different people. But why don't you guys share about your passion for hiking and so forth? Because I've got some great pictures that Jan shared with me that I plan to share with everybody later. But why don't you guys talk a little bit about your passion for hiking?
Jan?
Yeah. So I got turned on to hiking, just saying that we're horrible with dates, but probably say like 8 years ago.
Okay.
And had never really been into hiking before, and I'm not a gym person, so the outdoors and trails were a perfect fit for me. And I started going on group hikes. Didn't know any of these trails or anything, so started joining some group hikes, and met Marta through work because we've both been at the district about 13 years. And so anyway, we started hiking together on these group hikes. And then, as with anything, group hikes kind of fizzled, but we stuck with it. And a lot of our big hikes that we've done have been in some way part of a group organized thing. But because those require so much training, we ended up hiking a lot together just as a means of, our workouts and training and preparation for the big ones.
Okay. No, I've definitely seen that you guys have done some big hikes and so forth. And Marta, I want to say I've seen you on social media. I'm going to stop because I'm getting winded. But I've seen you, Marta, on social media where you've done some marathons, half marathons, and hiking. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. I'm glad actually you brought up the social media piece. I actually think that is so important. It's a way to connect people. It's a way to motivate. For me, I love to share photos of course, nature, as you've probably seen on my feed. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Even just letting them see what I see on a run, and also shows consistency, I think. That's how I actually get motivated, is by the people that I follow and seeing that they are up every morning at 4 or 5 and going out there and, hitting the trail. So I really believe that social media can actually help promote the sport.
Oh, definitely.
And if you have a love for nature, you need to get out.
I agree. No, I moved out here to the desert about 20 years ago, and I started hiking a little bit, but it's only been, I'll say, the last 3 weeks where I've been really dedicating myself to get out here 4 times a week. And
it's
as
gorgeous.
I do it, exactly. Yeah. Although I come up to the cove, you can take so many different routes up here.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And I want to thank Jan. You brought me up here a week and a half ago, and you showed me a different route. And thank you. And I did that the other day. So that's great. Just pretty awesome. Yeah. Well,
and
you
that's
know what?
It's about kind of touching on what Marta was saying is that, we've brought or hiked with a number of other locals and other people that, aren't familiar with the area. And once they get out here and they realize what the options are, and it can be any skill level. It's not like, because you're running a marathon or something that, or doing a big hike that you have to be an expert or anything. It's like we all started at the beginning at one point.
Right. No. I tell you, I remember the first time I did the cross hike and the bumper grind. I about killed myself, but now I enjoy doing it all the time because I worked up to it. But like you said, you can come here in the cove and you can experience something like the cross hike or the bumper grind, or you could experience just beautiful nature out here in a nice stroll if you want to even.
Sure.
Yeah,
and I definitely even love to plan destination hikes or just travel. So Big Bear, it's an hour and a half from Palm Springs. There's no excuse. Go up to the elevation, get cool, beautiful views, great hike. So we need to take advantage of what we have here, definitely.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I hope that the three of us can meet some more often and do more of these hikes, because I definitely enjoy, having conversation on here. Some of the times I even think they're like working meetings while I'm hiking and so forth, with some of the times I have these.
Sure.
But I want to kind of wrap this up because, like I said, this is going to be part of our morning Coffee with Chef Mary show this morning. And usually we wrap it up with maybe, a comment or something you want to say about what you've been doing differently since March 13th. We've all worked differently. This is something new for me since March 13th. Maybe Jan, if you want to lead off, how has life changed differently for you since March 13th?
Yeah. Well, it's it's been still seems surreal at times with everything that's going on. But as far as my work goes, I'm super fortunate that I can do my job from wherever, essentially. So I have been working remotely, working a lot actually over the last few months. Launched the new district website. That was a big project. Again, through everything, just really trying to be active with district social media, help get the word out to families. And, we had some recent parent surveys that were rolling out and really trying to get people aware of that on Facebook and Twitter, for example. I think were really helpful and have been fielding a lot of questions that parents have submitted and things like that. So yeah, I've been super busy, but very grateful. Obviously my kids are home. I have 2 kids, and so we're quarantining at home and taking it day by day. So so far so good.
Gotcha. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. I greatly appreciate it. Marta, you want to share a little bit about what you've been doing differently?
Well, I've still been feeding the students. We've still been out there. So actually, we've been very busy. We created pop-up restaurants and parking lots, making sure the kids got fed. You've been a great supporter in getting the word out, so we appreciate that, Sean. Families are still welcome to come by, please, Monday and Wednesday from 8 to 10. We're feeding the community. My staff is amazing. They've done a great job. So we can't say enough.
I get teared up when I see everybody dedicating themselves and working. And I saw the volunteers at the beginning of this helping out. And it's just fantastic to see everybody going above and beyond. And not just Desert Sands employees and staff, but the whole community has gone above and beyond. And it's amazing to see what's been going on. But ladies, thank you very much for taking the time this morning. And I wanted to once again thank the Desert Sands Educational Foundation for providing this format, for allowing us to highlight the great staff that we have, the great, incredibly talented staff. But that ends this interview. And if you guys want to see all of this with Chef Mary this morning, we're going to be at 9 o'clock. But ladies, thank you very much. I'm going to try and end this. I've never done this live on my phone, so we'll see how this works.
Thanks for having us, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
So Mary, you just gotta love technology, huh? That was all done by my cell phone.
That was incredible. What was really interesting was the view of the mountains behind Marta. They were all like yellow, behind there. And it was like, and she said coming up to Big Bear, when I lived in Julian, we used to house some triathletes, and part of their stay with us was the bicycle training of it. And even though Julian was at 5,000 feet, or maybe not even that high, they all came up all buffed up and all happy. But then when they got into the altitude, all of a sudden they couldn't breathe, and they'd be back at the B&B, and they'd be going, oh my gosh, I can't breathe.
Because you got to train for those things. You can't just go out and do them.
Yeah, I mean, they just felt they could come up and, just all of a sudden, acclimate. Like around here, like if I'm in San Diego for a couple of days and I come back up, it takes me a couple of days to sort of find my breathing routine.
I bet.
But like when I go out and walk in the morning, like when she said, you see all the things of nature, I usually take my phone and camera and I'll see something. I don't know, like I'll see maybe a piece of trash and I'll take a picture of it. And then that's my whole thing, the whole walk, is I'll take pictures of odd trash, like ballpoint pen or film, or maybe the next day it'll be a flower or a tree, or it breaks up the thought of the walk, and then you can get a couple miles.
So what I do is I always try to hike with somebody, or so we can have conversation. A lot of times I've been doing that. I'll tell you, one of the our Thanksgiving dinner that we had, Feed the Heroes, actually came from a conversation that started on hikes. Black Hawk Showdowns actually came out part of conversation during hiking. So all of these different types of things that have happened, a lot have been created throughout hiking and so forth. But I do have a treat for us. We saw her in the interview this morning, and she shared a bunch of pictures with us as well. But we have Jan Diaz with us, who's going to talk to us a little bit and walk us through some of the pictures. Yeah, so let's bring Jan on screen. Good morning, Jan. How you doing?
Good morning. You make me sound like the elusive. Happy to join you guys again. Hi, Mary.
How are you?
Good. Yeah.
So as I was sharing, you've taken a bunch of different hikes, and you just talked a little bit about it, but you sent me some amazing pictures here. I want to pull them up on screen, and maybe you can kind of walk us through these. So what's going on
I would
here?
love to. Thank you. Yeah, so, we mentioned in our interview earlier that we, hike locally. And as you saw there, we met at the La Quinta Cove. And so that's probably our number one training ground for sure. But, hiking with locals like we talked about. And so there's a picture of some other Desert Sands staff there. You can see, from various departments, but it's nice to, get some newbies out there and just enjoy the fresh air. And,
Definitely.
like you've told us, you want to go experience the Buhoff hike. This larger picture is a view from Buhoff, and you can kind of just barely see there. It's a gray, light gray color, but it's the Salton Sea.
Okay, that's what I assumed that was. Okay, so you get up that high. Wow.
Yes,
okay.
You can get up that high, and so we've had a number of people, say, I want to go and do that hike with you, and so we go, okay, well, you can work up to it, but it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful hike. So
okay, and then what do we got going on here in this one?
Well, Marta mentioned this morning that she goes up to Big Bear often, and she's shown me a popular trail up there. I can't remember the name of it, but she goes up there often, and that's a view from up in Big Bear.
Up in Big Bear. So that's your neck of the woods there, Chef Mary. You recognize that trail at all?
So Jen, if you come up, you have to, I have an extra room.
Oh, wonderful.
We live a block from the National Forest, which is a major hiking area in Sugarloaf. On a daily basis, we will see tons of people hiking, particularly with hiking sticks. Or during the snow season, they'll be up with snowshoes and different types of, snow wear, hiking up in there. And it's really pretty because you can actually, from what I understand, like, I'm not a hiker. I walk around the house. I'm a walker.
That's good.
I'm a photographer. I'm a photographic walker. I walk and I photograph crazy things on the road. But they can actually, I think, almost walk into town from here, going through the back trails.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Great place in the wintertime. There's lots of places to sled that's kind of private that not a lot of people know about. So when company comes up, they can go back in the forest and have some really good sled areas without being with the masses of people. So you're always welcome. And so is Marta.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
So what's going on here? I see some bloopers.
Yeah. So speaking of fun, we just try to enjoy. It's kind of like you were saying, Mary. You have to, both of you were saying earlier that in order to get, you're out there, you put in the effort, but it's nice to sort of have a distraction. So whether it's conversation or taking pictures or just being goofy. So the blooper was, we thought it would be fun to take one of those jumping pictures where you're both up in the air at the same time. And it was a fail.
So are you using a timer or is somebody else taking
Yes, yeah. So it was a timer. And so we would go back, reset to our standing point and try again. I don't know. We probably took 20 photos and,
Too funny.
And then on my camera, we set them both up on this rock. And so she had her timer and I had my just video. So I have the most hilarious blooper video of us just,
I'm sure of it.
We didn't really get one where we were both timed perfectly. So yeah, we called that one a blooper.
It looks like you guys are prepared for the pandemic. You already have your bandanas there for mouth covering.
We always, well, that's the new use for it, really. But I've used a bandana around my neck for all these years, and they just help out so much. When you pass a creek and wet it and cool yourself off, or wiping sweat and stuff.
Of course, definitely. All right, well, let's see what else you got here for us. Training hikes. What's this all about?
So, we've kind of touched on, doing these big hikes and so we've done various hikes leading up to the big challenges. So, The one on the left was up on the Palm Springs Tramway, and then up on the San Jacinto Mountain. But we had done a long day, a long one that day, that by the time we got to sort of a main intersection, Marta was so happy to see that sign she had to kiss it. So we were happy to be getting back to civilization on that particular day. And then we've actually trained at night. One of our races that we did last year was a night.
You actually talked about that while we were hiking.
Yeah, it was up in Joshua Tree. It was the Joshua Tree half marathon, and it was at night. And so we figured, part of our training needed to be getting used to, being out on the trail. It's a totally different experience. Even the sounds, there's bugs, that make sounds that you just don't hear that stuff during the day. So it was good training for us. So.
Oh, I bet. No, that just sounds interesting all in one. But I do want to point out, so Chef Mary, it seems like we got a kissing theme this week. We have Marta here kissing the sign, and then earlier this week we had Mary Perry kissing the Blarney Stone in one of her pictures. So it's the theme. Well, I wonder what the theme will be next week.
There you go.
Maybe what you have to do, you have to bring a picture of something you're kissing. Maybe your meat or your dog.
This is a children-friendly show. We'll keep
it clean. So one of our biggest
this one.
Yeah. One of our biggest challenges was to do the Grand Canyon rim to rim in one day. We're not backpackers or overnight camping type people. We just want to go and challenge ourselves with just doing it in one day and see how quickly we can get it done. So you're starting off on the south rim of the Grand Canyon, hike 6 or 8 miles down to the bottom, and then about like 4, I can't remember the breakdown, but a few miles across the base of the canyon, and then back up the north side, and then you have to get shuttled from the north back to the south side. So we had a big van. So it was arranged as a part of a group, but this was the first big hike that Marta and I did, and so it was kind of crazy ideas like, hey, what do you think about this? And I kind of challenged her with it. She has been a runner in the past and had done marathons, and was kind of like a road runner. Runner on the road, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, and so then she got more into the hikes and was, that's one great thing that I have to say about her is she's definitely up for about any challenge, which has been fun.
Yeah, that's always great when you get like I said, a hiking partner, and I've always turned that into great conversations. And like I said, so many thoughts and creative thoughts have come out of those conversations from and so forth. Now, my question is, when you're hiking the Grand Canyon, someplace like that, so I see you're kind of dressed like it's cold. What's the temperature difference between the top of the Grand Canyon and the bottom? Is it vastly different?
It's quite different. Yes, actually. There can be snow at the top.
Right.
We're pretty bundled up here. I mean, you can see I've got, headband, ear warmer sort of thing,
gloves on too.
Gloves and pretty all decked out with the gear. But then it would be, I don't know the exact temperature difference. And the other thing to add is that you have to start almost in the dark.
Right.
In order to finish this in a one day, time period. So you're starting super early in the morning, before it's light, and you're trying to get a few miles in already. So that makes it even cooler at the start, at the starting point. And then down at the bottom, it's desert. It's like here. Right. It definitely gets hot down on the bottom, and it's really like you're walking along, desert trails. So that was very interesting, the change in terrain and temperature. So the time of year is very, very critical, because you can have some parts too snowy or icy up toward the top. And then of course the heat of the summer would be an issue down at the bottom.
What was the elevation change in something like that when you did?
Oh, you had to go and ask me that.
Sorry.
I'll comment on that later.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all. Okay, no more questions about this one.
Well,
We'll go to the next.
yeah.
Here's another amazing accomplishment. Congratulations on this.
Thank you. That was definitely one of my most difficult. It took me 3 tries over a period of several years. And it just really takes a lot of training. So you're starting at the base of Mount San Jacinto in Palm Springs, you know, in the neighborhoods of Palm Springs. You park your car and start hiking up the mountain and go past, you know, where the mountain tram station is. You're going past that elevation up to the peak, and it's 10,834. I'm reading. Foot elevation, and then hike back down to the mountain tram station, ride the tram back down. The trail is, the mountain really is too steep. Some people do it, the extreme people, but to hike back down it. And then there again, timing and heat is definitely an issue. You know, the time of year, I mean, this was May 1st. My little sign there. It would be, you'd have to expect that it would be really hot, you know, at the base. So it's just not safe. You know, there's signs on there on that trail, on that mountain that, you know, say that people, unfortunately have passed.
Right.
You know,
so Chef Mary, you know my Aunt Bobby real well.
Yes, I do.
So she's in great shape. Always been working out. Not so much hiking, but she had always worked out, ran, played golf a lot. Great shape. And one of her friends had asked her, "Hey, you want to go do this hike here?" And most of the hiking she'd ever done is like the bump and grind or the cross hike or, you know, those kind of trails and so forth. But she figured, hey, I'm in great shape, so she did it, and she was able to do the hike. The next day, she was just sick as a dog because of elevation sickness.
Oh yeah.
For it. And if you don't do those types of ththings can happen. And luckily, she just got sick the next day. Whereas obviously other things could happen if you do things when you're not trained for it.
Up here in Big Bear, we have a lot of people that come up, and within, you know, minutes of getting out of their car, they're not feeling well or have headaches or whatever, just from the altitude, because we're at 8,000 when they come up. And it's kind of interesting because you feel really very disoriented for a little bit. But I think it's a lot of it's, I mean, we always tell everyone you've got to just drink tons and tons of water when you're here. Yeah. Your skin is just like alligator skin after the first couple of days.
Okay, let's see where else we're going here. And here's another one, Mount San Gorgonio. Wow. Completely different terrain there.
Oh, it really is. Yeah. You get so high, you pass the tree line. San Gorgonio, I have a little note here, was 11,500 feet. So it's higher than San Jacinto. Okay. So that's why you lose a lot of that, the trees there up at the top, and it's not as, you know, pretty scenery down further. You know, you're going through a lot of really beautiful woodsy type of trails, which is nice. But it's pretty cool to do these hikes and go through all these different terrain changes.
Oh yeah, definitely. And here's another one. Wow, that just looks gorgeous as well.
So San Gorgonio, and of course all these other San Jacinto and all these other hiking places were training for Mount Whitney. So I put Marta up to the challenge to hike Mount Whitney with me. We went as a group. It was coordinated as a group. It requires a permit through a lottery process.
Okay.
The group
can just go.
No, they limit the number of people on the mountain each day. So, you know, there's a whole lottery permit process, but we were able to get in as a group. But Marta and I really were buddied up. You know, we have the same hiking pace, and so we had sort of pairs of people in our group that were at different paces along the way. But this Mount Whitney is the highest in the lower 48, and that was a pretty pretty awesome experience. At the very base there would be Lone Pine, California. So I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but this is from the top, and you're just above the clouds, as you can see. So
that just looks amazing.
It was just really breathtaking and overwhelming. And I posted this on my social media, pictures from the event, and I just had the coolest comments of how, you get, you rock, and that's awesome, great job, congratulations. But then, people are like, you've inspired me, and just those kind of, when you hear that you've affected people that way, I think is really, Marta touched on it this morning's interview, but that's really the bonus for us,
Definitely. No, that helps drive me as well. I try to go on Instagram every time in my story and share about when I'm hiking in the morning, and it kind of motivates me to see that people are looking at it, as well as people have also messaged me and said, "Hey, this is great. Thank you for doing this." And this has motivated me. So that's kind of cool how social media does that for us. It's a hidden motivator, I guess.
True.
Oh, yeah.
My question is, you've done a number of these hikes where they're more than 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours. What is your regimen of meals or something look like before that type of a hike? If you don't mind.
So,
if you don't mind
no,
sharing.
I mean, nutrition is a big part of it. If Marta were connected on here, she would, could talk for hours on this. But we really have to figure out what works for us. And so what, someone might take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, with them might not work for someone else, or whatever. So, I mean, there's eating and there's hydrating and everything days in advance. And in fact, this hike actually required that we take the altitude medication.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, you start taking that a few days prior, so that it's in your system in advance. And really hydrating is a big thing for me. And then, you hear about carb loading, how, people are doing races and things the night before they carb load. But it's true, like, you don't want to eat something the night before and you cannot afford to be sick the day after. It just is too critical, especially when you've spent months planning and training. And in this case, you have a permit, so you don't want to lose that really special day, if you will.
Exactly. Wow, you guys have experienced so much more of California than I've ever even thought of. Oh, here we are, some more Mount Whitney.
Just because there's so much cool stuff to share. So we started at like 3:00 in the morning, and it was pitch black. We knew that it was going to take a long time, and we had some other people that started earlier than us, people that started later. Yeah. And so we just kind of, like I said, we buddied up and told each other we were going to, stick together through it. And we also knew that we wanted to enjoy it, not rush through it, if you will. We wanted to stop and take pictures, and we wanted to, I don't want to say leisurely, because it's not a leisurely hike, but just soak it in, And so we, like I said, that's why we chose to start at the time that we did. And the one on the lower right that you're seeing is a really steep part, and it's nicknamed the 99 switchbacks section because there are literally, that many switchbacks on the mountain, and this steep part are actually these poles for you to hold on to, and it's kind of a loose rock in that section. So it's a short section. It's not like that's the whole thing, but there again, the terrain change is very diverse. From we were crossing creeks and walking along these little log bridge things, and we didn't expect any of that. So
I can
it was
imagine
amazing.
that your guys' cell phones with the pictures that day just must be full of just great photos and everything.
Yeah, we did. It was hard to pare down just to show a few today.
Oh, what's going on here? You're doing a little road running, it looks like.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
so why don't you share that? What's going on there?
Okay, so talk about I had challenged Marta with these big hikes previously, so then she flipped it on me and said, okay, I'm going to challenge you with doing a marathon. And I was like, I'm not a runner. What? 26.2 miles? I don't know about that. I'm like, wait a second. If I just had to change my mindset. And I said, I can hike that, no problem. I'll walk the darn thing if I have to. Okay, I'll do it. So,
Wow.
we signed up and, of course, trained for it for months. And the crazy video there is my whole now running, we're different. She and I are different paces. So we didn't stick together on the marathon. So she was ahead of me, and this was at the starting line that you see. We started at the Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
And there's just a sea of people. It's insane how many people do this event every day. And I'll tell you, all ages and sizes, it is.
You got Elvis there too running, I see.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So, my pace, I have this group of Elvises that are running along. They're pushing a stroller with a boombox in it and a cooler of beers. And so they're, partaking and just having the greatest time the whole way. And you can just barely see in the far right, there was a Marilyn Monroe character that was running, she was running along with them. So they were this whole crew. And I mean, they were such a fun distraction for me. And the part of the video showed a fully uniformed fireman carrying a flag for 26.2 miles.
Wow.
Was pretty amazing. And that was definitely an experience for sure.
Oh, I bet. Those Elvises remind me of the beginning of the whole, in March and so forth, when we got the call to say that we could not, go back to work and so forth and school's canceled. I was already 4 weeks past a haircut. And by the time April hit, I was having comments by people saying, hey, you could do virtual Elvis as a side gig right now.
Start something new.
Sean, when I lived in San Diego, I belonged to the Mission Bay Track Club.
Okay.
And listening to Jan and Marta, it brings me back to that desire to do it. It was like we would get up in the morning, and my neighbor Peggy, she would go, "Do you want to take a 10-mile run? We'll run over to Convoy and come back." And it was like walking down the street. Then we would do, a 5K, a 10K, work the end of the line, race line. And it was just really, it was effortless to run it.
Mm-hmm.
The first mile was painful, and then after that, you just going on.
Oh yeah.
And you get distracted. You distract yourself, and all of a sudden you're, getting some miles in. So that helps.
And another one here, Mount Baldy. Now, where is Mount Baldy?
Mount Baldy is like an hour from here.
Okay.
I think it's
nearby.
Yeah, it's not far. So it's a popular one to do, and we did that as part of one of our trainings. I don't know, but there's this one section. The left picture is called Devil's Backbone Trail.
Yeah, I don't do those types.
The trail is really narrow, and you're the idea is that you're kind of not really having to balance, but it's a narrow section of the trail. So that one was fun.
Okay. Hey, real quick, I do want to say that you do have a couple shout outs here, Jan. Let's see here. You got this person here, Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa.
Boys.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hello. And then Mary Perry actually commented earlier that when we were hiking, she was with us in spirit.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And
Hi,
then we
Mary.
had Sophia Hernandez, said great job.
Hey, Sophia.
And then this comment just came in, and I want to make sure to put it up there. And I just want to mention to everybody. So this comment is about the return to school plan. And I just want to make an announcement. Just so you know, official announcements about school and so forth will not be made on this format. However, I will tell you that there's a special board meeting tonight, Thursday at 5 o'clock, and you can definitely tune in to the DSUSD live YouTube page where they'll be having that. So Javier, thank you for the question. I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Definitely tune in to the YouTube page to follow that. But let's go back to and see what else we got for more hikes. Look at this one here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Amazing.
Ironically, the weekend of our closure, so that March 13th, Marta and I were in the car
I remember this.
on the way to Northern Arizona for this race, which hadn't been canceled because of all the, pandemic issues. They were still going to hold the race and take precautions. And it's, as you can see, it's all, spread out and trail run. So this was her first and longest ultra trail race that she did, 35 miles. And it's Antelope Canyon, but it overlooks the Lake Powell. Okay. And so you have sections in that one picture there of Lake Powell, and there's these what are called like slot canyons. Yep. And so she ran through sections of that and had to climb, ladders and boulders and things like that. And where I was going along to cheer her on, there was a half marathon distance. So, these races never go what they label the distance. It's always over. So I did she did 35 and I did 14 miles. So.
Oh, wow. No, the closest I've ever seen to slot canyons, I've had the luxury of, not luxury, but the chance to an opportunity to hike over in Mecca and see Box Canyon and Ladder Canyon and so forth. And it definitely doesn't look like that. That just looks unbelievable. That looks like art right there.
Yeah, I know it is. There are a lot of photographers that go out there.
Oh, I bet. No, definitely. That's just an amazing picture there. And that's the last of your hikes, it looks like. The last of the pictures?
Yeah, that was the most recent one. So that kind of brings you up to date there. So
okay. What's the future look like? If we could if you guys could just do some hike, any hike, what's the future look like for that? Or what's your dream?
Well, we're hiking La Quinta. Yeah, the training is we're hiking La Quinta Cove. We do the Buhoff Trail every week, at least once a week if we can, just to keep that momentum and the maintenance. And we have the crazy idea to do Grand Canyon rim to rim again. What we want to run it and try to beat our previous time. But, we'll have to see how the reopening plans and things go, but
of course,
maybe in the fall.
Well, I as I told you this morning, my goal is to be able to do that Buhoff Trail with you guys. I know it's about 7 miles, and I'm hoping with doing all the hiking that I'm doing this summer that I hope that I could be able to do it by fall. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it by fall.
You can do it.
I also want to wait for temperature and so forth because 7 miles is a long ways.
You start doing it in little segments, and each time you do it a little bit more. So you can absolutely do it.
Yeah, since you guys showed me that trail this morning, I'm going to definitely add that to my regimen. Do that.
Yeah, good.
Start up a little bit earlier so I can get a little bit further each time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but, that's the best way to do it. That's what we all have to do.
Jan, thank you for being, for being part of this morning. Thank you for meeting me this morning and showing me around and being an inspiration for me to be hiking more. And just thanks for everything you do for Desert Sands. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for that. And it's my pleasure.
You got it. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, Mary.
Come to Big Bear.
Thank you.
She opens that to everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you. Mary, you ready to go hiking?
No. For years I ran, and I ran both of my hips out. So that took care of that, as you know. But I remember probably one of the most interesting was we ran half a marathon over to Coronado, and we had to go over the Coronado Bridge. And as we came to the top of the bridge, they were playing the Rocky song.
Of course.
And we had picked up the bus like around the airport. It was freezing cold. Oh, well, of course it was freezing cold in San Diego, right? It's probably 40 degrees, but we all had plastic trash bags on because we were cold. And then we got in line, and much like Jan said, they the faster runners go first, and then they can position you back. And there was just a sea of people. I mean, and when it started running, you kind of think you're just going to get run over, but somehow you get pushed with the momentum.
Yeah.
And our instructor, our trainer said, do not try to keep up with the people in front of you. You have to run at the pace that you're going to run or you're not going to make it. So we get up to the top of the Coronado Bridge and they're playing the Rocky song, and we're all like, oh, it was exhilarating. I mean, it was so much fun, and it was nothing to run 8 or 10 miles every day. Just get up and get off work and come home, and he would say, let's go take a run.
Yeah, I'll run if I have to.
Yeah.
If somebody's chasing me with I'll do it if I hit life or death. Definitely do that. But I definitely, like Jan said, I'll definitely hike it. I definitely am enjoying that a lot. But Mary, thank you for taking the time this morning. This has been a fun little show where we talked about the hiking. And like I said, we got to experiment a little bit with our software. We went on location, so that was fun. Want to share with you, I did get it confirmed for Tuesday next week. We are going to have the new principal at Colonel Mitchell Page Middle School on with us, Mrs.
Very
Carrie
good.
Sperber. She's going to come on and you know her well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, your old landlord, right?
My old landlord. Oh my gosh, I do. I just love that family. It's a great family.
So she's going to come on and she's going to talk about all the new things that she's got going on with her new job starting up. It actually didn't start, I believe, until August 1st. But if I know Carrie, she's there working already. But we're going to have her on. And then one of the things I do want to mention and make sure to highlight and make sure to, so people know, every Monday and Wednesday, we still have meal distributions going on from 8 to 10 o'clock. And from talking to Marta this morning, she told me the numbers have kind of dipped a little bit because there's been some different programs and so forth that the government has given money to families and so forth, which is fantastic. But who knows how long those things are going to last. So we want to make sure that families know that it's still here. We got all 10 locations going for meal distribution. As Marta was talking, I love how she uses pop-up restaurants because they are giving meals. They're giving meals away in the parking lot and so forth, 1,000 meals at each site. So I'm going to, just so you're aware, on Monday mornings, I'm going to be coming out at 8 o'clock. I'm going to try and go to a different site each of the next couple of Mondays to kind of highlight and help promote so parents and families know more about it. But go ahead.
What's been interesting with our interviews is everyone has tapped into something that either you or I have done, which is kind of crazy, like traveling or running or hiking or in the culinary industry. It kind of brings you back to like when I was running and how much fun it was, and the traveling and seeing it through other people's eyes.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. And speaking of like future shows and so forth, what we plan on doing is, we talked about how we got the Anderson Children Foundation grant this year, and we just gave out some grants. So what I hope to do is to do some like, I guess, how do you call it? Like grant feedback or grant afterward. So the awardees are going to come on and we're going to ask them, hey, how did the process go? How was your project? How was this? So we can do some follow-up so we can find out what they used the $500 or whatever they got in the grant in the classroom for. So I think that's
important when you have a donor that they know what you use that money for.
Exactly. And then, and I don't know if you saw, we got a new ticker on the bottom there. I've been adding that. That's a new thing that we added, that if people want to go to our website, they can. I will be the first to say that website is something that we're working on. I just, beautiful thing about hiking, I was able to talk to our webmaster, Jan Diaz, this morning, and she told me that we're going to be transforming the website a little bit, and we're going to work on that together. So that'll be fantastic. But if people do want to donate to the foundation and help out with any things that are going on with schools right now, you can go to the website and there's a donation platform there. But hey, Mary, I'm going to let you go. We're coming up on an hour. It was a great show this morning. You have a great weekend, and I will be in touch. And if I obviously won't see you before then, but I'll see you when we see Mrs. Sperber on Tuesday.
I know. I'll see you on Tuesday. You have a great week and a weekend, and stay safe and read some more books in Brooklyn.
Oh no, I will. So I'm going to end the broadcast, but I'll still be on so we can talk a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, Desert Sands Educational Foundation community, thank you very much for following us. As a reminder, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock with Chef Mary. We're highlighting the incredible, talented staff at Desert Sands for the month of July. And we're going to continue to talk about all the great things that we got going on in the foundation. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay.